Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, we would like to welcome you to German's Villa tonight for the 49th Annual Enshrinement Banquet. My name's Tim Elkhorn. I'm with AM 930 WEOL Radio. It's my pleasure to serve as your Master of Ceremonies here this evening. I have to tell you that this is one of the most special moments for me during the course of a given year. I do a lot of ceremonies, I do a lot of events, a lot of games on WEOL, but I've been coming to the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame Banquet for many, many years. And for most of those years, I would sit in the way back of the hall and watch my mentor and my guiding light in broadcasting, Joe Tate, MC this banquet. And Joe's a great personal friend of mine, but he's been my mentor in broadcasting. And as I would sit in the back of the room and watch Joe brilliantly MC the banquet, I used to think, what an honor, what a privilege for him to stand up there and do that. And so number one, I talked to Joe earlier today. He sends his regards to the great city of Lorain. And number two, I don't pretend to hold a candle to Joe Tate, but I'll do the very best I can here tonight. So I thank you for having me. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. What has stayed the same? The greatness of the history of athletics in the city of Lorain. Whether you're an admiral from Admiral King, a Lorain High Steelman, a current Lorain High Titan, Southview Saint, Lorain Catholic, Spartan, Clearview Clipper, St. Mary's, all of the schools from Lorain, they're all celebrated. And when you come together at the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, the greatness of the city of Lorain gets celebrated. And I think that's just an awesome thing, and it's great to see such a huge crowd here tonight. But a couple of different things here tonight. The Lorain Sports Hall of Fame banquet being held on a Saturday. I like that. And we're here at German's Villa in Vermillion. Cliff German, class of 2000, Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, hosting our event tonight. That's a great thing. Now, we do want to let you know that a picture area will be set up in the back, the entranceway. Tom Bauer, Lorain Sports Hall of Fame president, is displaying the banner that you can take pictures in front of throughout the night. So please feel free as the evening moves along to make all the memories you want insofar as getting in front of that banner, that poster, and having a picture taken. Want to let you know about the bar. That's always an important topic, very important topic at the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. It will be closed during presentations, will be reopened during dinner, and after all presentations for the end of the program, socializing. Those of you that have your cell phones, and I would certainly think that's about 100% of us in today's society, we do ask that you either silent or vibrate your cell phones. Obviously, you're going to use it for video, you're going to use it for pictures tonight, but please silent those phones so they're not ringing during the course of the presentations tonight. So try to silent those phones or at least put them on the vibrate mode. Well, at this particular time, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have the singing of our national anthem. So if we could bring forward to perform the duties here tonight, Mr. David Arredondo to perform tonight's national anthem.
A couple seconds. Hold on. Okay. To honor America, please join me in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, David. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure you are very much aware, to put an event like this on is a Herculean effort, and certainly all members of the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame Committee deserve a tremendous amount of credit. And at this particular time, I would like to introduce to you and bring to the microphone the president of the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame Committee, Mr. Bill Rufo. Bill.
Welcome. Welcome. On behalf of the Lorain Sports Committee, I welcome you to this event, our big event for the year. I've had the opportunity to serve 2 terms as president and have appreciated all the work the committee members have been able to provide us. Tonight's presentation consists of inductees and in the regular category, 1 in the senior category, and of course the track team. The track team holds the all-time record for people assembled around them. They sold and presented us with 92 people. Just outstanding. Okay, at this time I'm going to do what we're all about here, and I'm going to introduce our inductees for the 2018 class. This is the 49th session that we've been able to have. Jerry Evans and his lovely wife Lisa. That's Admiral King and football. James Janosco and his lovely wife Connie. Graduate of Lorain Catholic and swimming. Tony Miller and his lovely wife Elizabeth. Tony is from Southview and 2-sport athlete, football and baseball. Next we have Dan King and his lovely wife Jenny. High school St. Ed's and a double sport activity, football and wrestling. LeBron Gladden, wife Tina. Admiral King High School and basketball. Frank Colmar and wife Robbie, and son Robbie. Frank, of course, is the Lorain senior and 2-sport athlete, football and baseball. Jim Yosinski, wife Joanne. Lorain Clearview and noted for his football coaching career. William Billy McPhee and wife Barb. St. Mary's and Lorain Catholic, and of course football and coaching. Steve Stola. Wife Karen. I said Steve Stola. Admiral King and football coaching. Mr. Mark Robbins and his lady, Eva, his lovely wife, and a bunch of lovely gals, the senior Lorain track team. At this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize the Elyria Sports Hall of Fame. On Cinco de Mayo, we went over to Lorain Community College and we were invited to their banquet. We have two representatives there from here, Mr. Reeser and Mr. Lewis, and they're in the back there. And I'd like you to give them a nice, warm Lorain welcome. Okay, we have dignitaries here at the front table. And at the front table, we have Superintendent Jerome Davis from Clearview Schools. Of course, we have the singer and his wife, Michelle. We have Phil Dorr from the mayor's office in the city of Lorain. Phil. And last but not least, sitting on my left, is my wife, Esther Rufo. We know all about sports because 26 years ago, she gave birth to my son, Peter, and he was the first Ullin Award recipient from the combined schools of Southview and Admiral King to be a Titan awarded that grant to go to college. Okay. I'll turn this over to Tim. Thank you.
Bill, those are my notes. Don't walk away with all my notes, Bill. This would have been a 4-hour ad-lib job. Well, dinner will be served shortly, but at this particular time, we would like to offer a blessing before dinner. So if Father Daniel Devis, pastor of St. Mary's Parish, could please make his way forward.
Actually, I was sitting next to Bill's lovely wife at that table. Maybe that's why I didn't say I was there. I don't know. So let us pray. Loving God, as we gather together surrounded by family and friends, we express our gratitude for the accomplishments of the past, and we commit ourselves to seek to fulfill the best of the potential within us. May we strive through both deeds and words for great love and thankfulness within our families, our communities, our nation, and all society. May we never be too busy to pause and to say thanks to each other and to you for all our blessings. Mindful of having been given so much, we ask again for your blessing now on us and the food we share, that it give us nourishment for our bodies and our spirits. Blessed are you, O God, the source of all these gifts. Amen.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the time we have been waiting for, at least as far as the early portion of the evening is concerned, dinner is about to begin. We ask that you please allow the staff here at German's Villa to direct you through the buffet lines. And then you can enjoy what certainly will be a meal that's going to make this night perfect in every way. I can guarantee you Cliff German is going to take great care of all of us here tonight. So enjoy the dinner, and then we look forward to a great enshrinement ceremony following our dinner tonight. Thank you. Well, first of all, before we bring up to the microphone our next speaker, I think I had told you before dinner that Cliff German and his staff were going to take very good care of everybody here tonight. How about the meal that was served by Cliff and everybody here at German's Villa? That was an excellent meal. And again, Cliff German, class of 2000, Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. So it's very cool that a Lorain Sports Hall of Fame inductee can entertain us and welcome us all here this evening. Well, earlier tonight, Bill Rufo mentioned some of the dignitaries that we have in attendance tonight, and one of those is Lorain Mayor Chase Rittenhour's Chief of Staff, Phil DeRay. So at this time, we'd like to welcome Phil DeRay to the microphone to address the crowd. Phil?
Well, you can tell there's athletes around here. I'm kind of short, but good evening. Chase couldn't come to address the crowd tonight. It was disappointing to him, but he did have to travel out of town, and he asked if I would come and represent him, and I said sure. It was a couple weeks ago that he realized he couldn't come, and when he asked me if I would come and speak, I thought, well, maybe I should ask him if there's something that he wanted me to say on behalf of him. But then I thought otherwise, because, you know, Chase, this night is really about sports, and Chase is a Cubs fan. I'm a Tribe fan, and so I figure I don't really care what he wants me to say tonight. I'm going to figure it out myself. But I trust that if you see Chase sometime, you know, if you come across him, you'll tell him that I spoke highly of him otherwise. But anyway, you know, sports becomes very important in our lives early on in our lives usually. But I got to tell you, in my life, it wasn't President Eisenhower or President Kennedy or John Glenn from the great state of Ohio that was my childhood hero. My childhood hero was Rocky Colavito. And I got to tell you something. Probably the most important person at any given time on this planet is the President of the United States. But if you come into my office today, you're not going to see a picture of the President. You're still going to see a picture of Rocky Colavito on my wall. So it's very important in our lives. This week, I took some time to look at the website for this great organization to see the over 360 people's names that have already been inducted into this great Hall of Fame, and it was pretty impressive. Some of them were actually relatives of mine, many friends, colleagues, former students, and a lot of great community leaders. And so what I want to tell you is they're all heroes. And so it is my honor to be here tonight to celebrate with you the induction of this new class, and I hope you enjoy the evening as much as I do. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Phil. So we are here tonight for a very special evening for 9 athletes and 1 great team from the city of Lorain. The Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, throughout its history, is certainly known for honoring the great athletes, the great coaches, the great teams that make up the past in the city of Lorain. But before we get started tonight, I want to talk about a team that certainly made some history in the more recent past, about 60 days ago. Because in March of 2018, the Lorain High boys basketball team took the city of Lorain and took Northeast Ohio on a journey that we will never, ever forget, which culminated in a trip to the Final Four in Columbus, in which they lost a tough ball game to Cincinnati Moeller. Now, I've often said in my years of doing play-by-play, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, softball, I truly believe, and I think most of the coaches here in attendance tonight may agree with this, that teams take on the personality of their coach. And you can see that. But I think the 2018 Lorain High team, as much as they did indeed take on the personality of their great head coach, John Rossitano, they took on the personality of the city of Lorain. They played with grit, They played with energy, they played with determination, and they played with so much heart as they led us down that unbelievable trip on the tournament trail. So at this particular time, my understanding is we are going to have a video presentation, a very special video in honor of the 2018 Final Four Lorain High Titan basketball team. This video was put together by Jaden Morales and Joe Bach. So ladies and gentlemen, we would ask that you turn your attention to the screens and let's watch the incredible journey that the 2018 Titans took us on.
At the other end, Sledge, three right there. 46-42, Lorain down 4, 1:20 to go in the third. Sledge, 3-ball, he hit another one. Jaden Sledge has caught fire for the Titans. To the baseline, double team, pass stolen away by Sledge. Got it to Grant. Grant to the forecourt. Grant into the lane. Grant put it up and put it in, and Lorain leads. Pierre Lewis into the lane. He tried. He scored. He got fouled. He took it to the rim that time, and a chance for a three-point play. Davon said, "I'm done being conservative." Davon Pierre Lewis threw caution to the wind, and a chance for an and one. Playing with 4 fouls. And here comes Strongsville. They need a 3 to tie. Peak throws it in. Does Lorain foul? Left side, Sire. Sire got it out front. Peak ball knocked out of his hands. Got it to Lake. Lake heaves a 3. No! Lorain has won the district championship. 47-40. Eagles by 7. Division I regional semi here in Akron. Grant 3. Good! Devon Grant buried another one. And it's 47-43. Lorain within 4. Right wing Dow with a 3. Missed it. Rebound knocked out front. Davis has it for Lorain. Throws it down the floor to Wetherington. Wetherington left corner Sledge. 3. Good! Sledge hit a 3-ball. It's a Saturday night repeat. Sledge with a big 3 in the third. It's a 1-point game. 47-46. A steal by Lorain. Davon Pierre Lewis, top of the key, right corner, 3 up. Good! Sledge hit a 3. History repeating itself. The Titans lead it. 49-47. Lorain down by 3. Grant on the right wing. St. Ed's is at 14 fouls. Grant 3. We're tied! We're tied! Grant hit the 3. We're tied up. 60-60. Here comes St. Ed's down by 6. Foster to the forecourt. Foster out front. He'll shoot to 3. No good. Rebound grab. Left side Blanton. His 3. No good. Lorain's going to go for a final 8. 3-ball from the corner. They'll count it. But Lorain wins it. Lorain wins it, 72-69. It is Titan pandemonium here in Akron. Who would have believed it, except for the guys in blue? Lorain will play in the regional final Saturday afternoon in Toledo. An unbelievable win in the history of Lorain basketball. 7-3. Lorain with a 4-point lead. Left wing, Grant, 3-ball. Good! Devon Grant. Oh, he loves tournament time. Devon Grant hits the 3. Lorain with the basketball. Davis on the floor with 3 fouls. Left side, Jackson, 3-ball. Good! Oh, what a game for the sophomore. He's at double figures with 10. Jackson now dribbles to the top of the circle. Jackson, run of the lane, runner off the glass is good! Jordan Jackson with a dozen. Will history repeat itself for a Lorain County team here today? Grant, foul line shot, good! And the Titans lead. Here comes Lorain with a 1-point lead. Grant on the right wing with a stutter step against King. Step back, jumper, good! Devon Grant, oh, he's special. Jackson in between the circles. Jackson to the left wing, pulls up, shoots, tough shot, and he hit it. Oh, what a shot by Jackson. A coming out party for the sophomore. 34-33, Lorain in front by 1. St. John's by 1. Out front, 3, good! Oh my! Devon hit it from Bowling Green. Lorain basketball in a 37-37 tie. Little crossover dribble, Grant to the baseline, now backs up, now spins to the baseline. He'll shoot it, he'll hit it! Devon Grant putting on a show in Toledo. Grant between his legs on the dribble. Grant into the lane, he scooped, he scored! Devon Grant puts Lorain on top. What a titanic clash this has been. Ryan Christie, the 6'1 senior, looking. Has stolen away by Davis. Davis stole the ball for Lorain. The Titans have it. And a timeout taken by Lorain. Cameron Davis stole the ball. Lorain has it. Timeout, 44-43. Lorain down 1. 40 seconds on the clock. Lorain down by 1. Grant, first one up. We're tied. Devon Grant, right down below, sends it up and in. Lorain leads it by 1. Lorain by 1. Williams, left side. Now they get it to Moyer on the baseline. Back to Williams. Williams drives the lane. Shot, no. Rebound, loose. Lorain has it. Lorain has it and fouled in the backcourt with 4.2 to go. Devon Grant. Lorain up by 1. 4.2 to go. Christie runs it, throws it into Williams. Williams got it, and he threw it behind Christie. And the buzzer sounds. That's the ball game. That's the ball game. Lorain is Final Four bound. The ball got away in the backcourt. Unbelievable. The Titans are heading to Columbus. Can you believe it? They have come to Savage Hall. And they have knocked off Toledo St. John's 47-44. What an unbelievable story. And the Titans will play at least one more. They're heading to Columbus for a game on Friday against Cincinnati Moeller. Well, that's embarrassing. So I got to tell that play-by-play guy to chill out a little bit. Man, let's play some more basketball. That was fun. What a run it was. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Lorain High Titans certainly took us on that great journey, and they are here tonight. So let us bring up to the front the members of that great 2018 Lorain High team that took us on that incredible run. The regional semifinal win over Lakewood St. Edwards, the regional championship win over Toledo St. John, and that Final Four game in which they went toe-to-toe with Cincinnati Moeller. John Rossitano, his staff, and his players now make their way forward. Come on, let's hear it for the 2018 Lorain High Titans.
Yeah, as you've seen in the video, these guys represent the city of Lorain in an unbelievable way. They had some of the same characteristics that a lot of these great athletes have on stage here. The passion, determination, character, and above all else, they're just great kids, and we were just glad to represent the city of Lorain. Real quick, we have coaches Brian Clark, Matt Killian, and Mitch Gillum. We have Devon Grant, David Weatherton, Cameron Thomas, or Cameron Davis, Louis Suarez, James Sledge, Tavon Pierre-Louis, and Jordan Jackson. Again, thanks for the committee for having us here tonight. It's a really special evening for all of us. Thank you.
Awesome accomplishment. Tremendous job, guys. John, to you and your staff, congratulations. And we know you'll be back here next year. No pressure, though. No, what a great team. What a phenomenal team. All right, as they get seated, it's now time to begin our induction ceremonies. Tonight, the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame observes the induction of its 49th class. The Hall of Fame was founded in December of 1969 by a group of sportsmen led by then athletic director Ed Siniger and newspaperman Paul Baumgartner in cooperation with the Lorain Chamber of Commerce under the leadership of director J. Ed Euland. The purpose was to honor those Lorain residents whose names are synonymous with all that is the best in athletic achievement from the outstanding sports heritage in the city of Lorain, the international city. Every year, there has been a banquet where a total of 368 individuals and 36 teams have been enshrined. We ask that you refer to your banquet pages 4, 5, and 6 for a complete list of all past enshrinees. While a sizable number of those who have been honored are deceased, and many others reside in distant parts of this great country, it's time to recognize all past enshrinees that are in attendance and in the audience tonight. So for all past enshrinees, will you please stand and be recognized? And we ask that all past enshrinees please stay standing, please stay standing. And now we would also like all members of the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame Committee to stand. So if all members of this great committee could please stand and be recognized. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the group. This represents what makes tonight possible. One more round of applause for all the past inductees and all members of the committee. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again in the program when the Hall of Fame Committee proudly inducts the class of 2018 into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. Tonight, we will induct 9 athletes whose athletic achievements have earned them recognition, and 1 team whose achievements brought fame to their school's track program. All these inductees were nominated by the general public. And with that said, if any of you out there believe that there are individuals or teams who deserve consideration for future induction into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, please obtain and submit a nominating application to the Hall of Fame Committee. Applications are available at the Hall of Fame Museum, located at Lorain High School, or on the Hall of Fame website. We also suggest that you read the complete achievements of each inductee, which can be found in their biography in your program, because my introductions here at the head table are going to be condensed and relatively brief. So are we ready to go? Are we ready to start our inductions here tonight? All right, leading off tonight's outstanding group of 2018 inductees is Jerry Evans. Jerry began his path to the pros at Admiral King High School, where he was a 3-year letterman in football. As a senior in 1985, Jerry was named first team All-Ohio, and the year before helped the Admirals to their first ever state playoff appearance. Jerry's success on the gridiron continued at the University of Toledo, where he made first team All-Mid-American Conference and was awarded the team's MVP. He played in 2 major All-Star games, the East-West Shrine Game and the All-American Bowl, both in 1990. Evans was drafted by the Phoenix Cardinals in 1991. After playing for Barcelona, Spain in the NFL World Football League, Jerry realized his dream of playing in the NFL when he suited up for the Denver Broncos. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jerry Evans into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame.
blame Mr. Dury for lining me up here first. And then I want to share with some people, maybe I don't have to answer this question anymore tonight, but I did not win a Super Bowl ring with Denver. So if I had something to show you, I would. But, you know, it's just a great honor to be here tonight. You know, I thank the committee for inducting me. I want to congratulate the rest of the inductees as well. Well-deserved, job well done. You know, it's been a long time since I played, and it's been a long time since I've been that person. And you know, as I prepared for tonight, had an opportunity to really go back and, you know, think about the journey a little bit. And you know, I got a better appreciation of the process as I'm older. You know, when you're playing at that level, you know, it's tough. It's hard to explain, but it's very tough to appreciate, you know, the moment that you're in. It's such a grind. You know, you're constantly fighting for your job. You're being evaluated on a daily basis. People are always coming into trying to take your job. You know, these player personnel people, I mean, their job is to evaluate talent, bring the best players in to help the football team win. And, you know, it's just, you really don't have an opportunity to, you know, sit back and, I guess, smell the roses. And, you know, I think in the last couple weeks as I prepared for this, I had an opportunity to really get a better appreciation of the accomplishments. And, you know, it's just a very humbling experience. You know, I realized I was just a kid from Lorain, and like a lot of other kids, you know, I dreamed about being a professional athlete, and I probably didn't want to admit that because a lot of my friends that are here tonight would have laughed me out of school if I would have told them that that's what my dream was going to be. But you know, it was something that, you know, I felt that I had the ability to do, and you know, as far-fetched as it might have been at that point, I truly believed it. You know, to be able to get to that level and you know, make that become a reality, and play where I played. Obviously, playing in Denver at that time wasn't a very popular decision around here. But you know, I was not a John Elway fan either growing up. But you know, when they started writing checks for me to play, then I was all in. You know, I grew up a huge Browns fan, and you know, I go back to being 12 or 13 years old, and you know, being able to you know, root for certain teams, root against other teams, certain players, root against other players, and then it's like 10 years later, you find yourself, you know, suiting up, you know, on the same field with these guys, either as teammates or, you know, looking across guys, and you know, it just kind of becomes a surreal moment, and you know, it was just a very humbling experience for me. You know, and it's such a fine line. You know, you fight for the opportunity, but you know, it's a fine line between the guys that get an opportunity and guys that don't. And you know, once you get that opportunity, that line becomes finer. You know, between, you know, the people that make it and the people that don't. And you know, it's a situation where, you know, a lot of lessons that I took from Lorain where you know, I just was going to continue to fight, and I believed what I was doing. Yeah, I felt during, you know, my 4 years of high school here, you know, the talent was amazing in Lorain. I mean, it was wall-to-wall athletes. You 3 schools that were just absolutely booming. Lorain Catholic had some amazing talent. I can just speak for Admiral King. I mean, our coaches had a big part of this, but we were putting 3, 4, Division I kids in college every year, and it was just amazing. I mean, the competition was fierce. We competed every day, whether it be against one another or the competition in the city. And little did we know we were actually getting each other better and preparing each other for the next chapter. I didn't start playing football until 7th grade at Masson. I wasn't very good. I wasn't very big. I wasn't this size my whole life. I wasn't very aggressive. I was probably more passive than aggressive. And I wasn't very tough. And, I remember showing up at, at practice as a 9th grader at Admiral King, and, kind of being in the back of the pack, and, just seeing guys like Jerry Dunlap and Derek Nix and Roger Smith and Pat Call, and these guys were all like Division I athletes, and just watch how they handled their business. And I really think from that day forward, that's it's what I wanted to do. I mean, I admired the way that they went about their business, and again, I didn't dare mention that to my friends, because I'm sure certainly they would have made a point about that. It was far from being a natural. But it's amazing during the course of 4 years. I mean, I truly went from being a kid that was just another guy in the football team that was going out. I was hoping Coach Pavlinda would be here tonight. I didn't even start on his JV defense. Could have dashed my dreams at that point, right? But in the course of 4 years, I went from just being a regular kid to being a Division I athlete, and was able to accept a scholarship to the University of Toledo. And it's a huge credit to where I was raised, where I was born, where I competed, to my teammates. I think all of the athletes in the city of Lorain at that time, because we either competed with each other or against each other. But even on our own team, I mean, practices were helping us just get better. And it was just an amazing era to play. And I really believe if I would have been raised anywhere else, I'm not quite sure if I end up getting away and come away with the same success that I had here. And once I left Lorain, I mean, there were some qualities that were instilled in me. I think that I took to the next level, and even after the level there, I was drafted in the '91 draft. It was tough. I wasn't quite honestly, I wasn't ready at that point. But man, I knew I was close. And I think the big part of it was, one of the things that I took from being, from Lorain and growing up here is I believed I could play. I believed I could play at that level. And maybe some people didn't. And I was out to prove them wrong. And I kind of had to develop and create my own chip on my shoulder. I knew that it's what I was going to have to do to get to where I wanted to go. But I'm from Lorain. That's who we are. Tim hit it on the head earlier. I mean, we're a gritty town, and you know, we're tough, we're resilient, and you know, I just you know, I really believe that you know, I could play, and you know, I thought I had something to prove, and you realize I don't think you can teach somebody to believe in something, or you know, especially believe in themselves. I think it's an acquired trait, and you know, I'm just so fortunate. I'm so blessed. Just very honored to grow up here and have the opportunity that I have. You know, along the way, a lot of people that I need to thank. You know, especially my parents. You know, I'm not going to be confused for someone that always took the least path of resistance. Probably more times that I didn't than I did. I don't know if that was just part of the process to make things tough on me. You know, unfortunately, I created several please tell me he didn't say that, please tell me he didn't do that moments for my parents. Certainly a challenge to raise at times, but you know, they continue to support me. You know, unwavering support. You know, unconditional love. My biggest fans. You know, we go back to college, going back to high school and college. Never missed a game. You know, rain or shine, long car ride, plane ride. You know, whatever it was going to take to be able to get there and support me. I could always count on them, you know, being there after the game and being there during the game, and you know, that meant a lot. You know, they also doubled as my medical staff. A lot of injuries, you know. Handful of surgeries. You know, it's a, you know, physical, very violent game, and but they were always there to help me, you know, get mended back and rehab back, and you know, trips to the orthopedic surgeon, and you know, they'd wait through the surgery, and you know, like I said, bring me back home, and you know, just invest a lot of their time, and get me back to you know, where I needed to be to play. My dad, you know, my biggest fan. Man, you know, the support was just unwavering. Especially growing up, I played travel baseball, and never, you know, he would leave work in Cleveland, and you know, show up in a suit and tie and show up at a dusty baseball field after driving 2 hours after work to catch a couple innings, and you know, just showed a lot of support. My mother, you know, quite honestly, I think my mom could have probably took it or left it as far as playing, and as I'm a parent now, I understand that. You know, it's tough to watch. I think your child play that sport at times. You know, for her, she got a first row seat of, you know, the injuries that occur, and you know, the repercussions of playing the game at that level. But she never let on. She always, you know, continued to support me just because she knew how hard I worked and how important that was to me. And I wouldn't be here tonight without my parents. You know, I appreciate everything you folks have done for me, and I love you very much. My wife, and I'm going to be done soon because I know I'm probably running over. My beautiful wife, I think Tim's over here knocking on it. I don't know, is that like time's up? Oh, okay, I didn't know. All right, okay. You know, my beautiful wife, guys may want to consider inducting her for dealing with me for the last 20 years. But you know, she's my best friend. just really blessed that we found each other. You know, great person, fabulous wife, fabulous mother. You know, she came around at a time when there was a huge void. You know, when you give your blood, sweat, and tears to do something, and you know it ends. You know, it's tough. It was really tough, and you know, I don't know where I'd be without her in my life, and very thankful for that. My 3 kids.
Just say their names. Just say their names.
Lorain, my son Zach, who is the second coming. And you guys gave Wilhelm like 10 minutes last year. I'm joking. And my son Zach, again, I think to his mother's dismay and his grandmother's, you know, he's a football player too, and he did transfer to Lorain this year, and he'll be playing for Coach Mack his senior year. Last but not least, my little 6-year-old here. Don't know what to say, or I don't know what I can say, but we got a babysitter 7 years ago, and that's where we're at now. I'm putty in her hands. I look forward to her working me over for the next 12 years. A couple more people, and I promise I'm out. A couple of my coaches, I know 2 of them are here. Mr. Providence in the back, I know he's up in here, or he's already inducted on his own merits, but you know, these guys just had such an influence in my career. You know, I'll preface it by saying that I gave them all heartburn and, you know, headaches a lot of times during the course of my playing days with them, but you know, just did a lot to you know, get me to the next level. Mr. El Cisco as well, you know, helped a lot of us to get in college. He really was involved in the recruiting process. And then last but not least with them is Mr. Nesbitt, and we go way back. You know, he was tough on me through the years, well-deserved, and you know, without him, I don't think, you know, without any of these guys, I don't know if things turned out the way they did. And my last one, I'd be remiss, Mr. Pope. A lot of kind words through the years. You know, I go way back with him. Remember him interviewing my Little League team in '76. You know, I don't remember what I had for dinner a couple hours ago, a couple minutes ago, but I do remember that. You know, I was full of myself at times, full of a lot of other things, but Mr. Pope, you're always kind, your words were always kind, and I thank you for that. With that, I am officially getting out of the way, and thank you all. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the evening.
Anybody taking a picture? I don't know. I think Joe. Yes. See what you hear up here at the head table. Jerry says, "How long was that?" Bill said, "I think you set a record." I got a 7:30 flight tomorrow morning. I was getting real nervous there for a minute. I really was. I'm not kidding. My wife's packing my bag right now. I texted her. I said, "You better hurry up." All right. Our second inductee tonight is Mr. Jim Janosco. Jim started on his first swim team at the Riviera Swim Club when he was 8 years old, and Jim is still swimming competitively. Jim swam at Lorain Catholic High School and after graduating continued his swimming career at the College of Worcester. After graduating, Jim returned to Lorain and was an assistant coach for the YMCA swim team. In 1989, Jim joined the Ohio Master Swim Club and he participates in numerous events each year. Jim Janosco is the first athlete in competitive swimming to be inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jim Janosco into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Thanks, Mr. Cook. Yeah, appreciate it. We're there. Thank you. All right, we'll make this one probably half as long, Jerry. Thank you to the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame for having me be the first swimmer inducted into the hall. It's an honor, I'm proud, and I'm very grateful for the sport and for myself. Swimming started for me, like probably most of the people in this room, down on East 28th Street in the basement of the YMCA, listening to Louis Monas teach us how to swim. I'm sure just about everybody here has driven through the orange fog of East 28th Street to go to swim lessons down in the basement. He was an inspiration to me. He was the one that felt swimming was a valuable life skill to learn. And I can say that it truly was for myself. My son Mark, who's sitting over in the corner, he said that he sees me at my happiest when I'm either in the water or on the water. That's very true. Swimming is truly my happy place. When you find a sport early in life that you love and can continue to improve and compete and enjoy for the rest of your life, that's truly a gift. Swimming has been that for me. From the early days at Riviera, Club Carousel, Oak Hills, the Lorain Y, the Elyria Y, high school at Lorain Catholic. I loved all those experiences, each and every one of them, and they prepared me for this lifelong adventure. I was a walk-on at the College of Worcester. I was there for swim camp one summer and decided that I liked the place and wanted to go back. What I found out that when I got there is the coach that I first talked to had left and there was a new guy there. He didn't know anything about me as a walk-on and I had to prove myself. And let me tell you, college swimming is a lot different than high school. We swam 6 miles a day, 6 days a week, plus weights. And between that and college, it was quite the experience, a challenge. I was there in college for the blizzard of '78. Our classes were canceled because of the snow, but our coach, he saw this as an opportunity to get in some extra yardage. He walked into the school that day and figured that we had no place to go, so we might as well work harder to be better. It was a lot of hard work, but I gotta say it was a fun day too. In our swimsuits, we went out in the snow, filled up big buckets, and had snowball fights in the pool. It was pretty slick. All this hard work started to pay off for me after my freshman year. My time started to drop, so much so that my junior year, I was finished second and third in the 100 and 200-yard breaststroke in the conference and was named an all-conference champion. Senior year got even better. All-conference again in 2 events, and I qualified for the D3 National Championships. Truly a great finish to a college career. But swimming is one of those sports that doesn't have to end when you finish college. There's a wonderful organization called the United States Masters Swimming Association, and they continue to have age group swim meets all over the country that allows me to compete for the rest of my life. In fact, I just returned last weekend from the 2018 National Championships in Indianapolis. There were over 2,300 swimmers there, ages 25 to 95. So when you think you're having a bad day, you look at those people and say, oh, I'm not doing so bad. And we get to do a sport that we truly love. In fact, one of the greatest experiences at the meet was that there was a relay, 4 guys, all over the age of 80. And each one of these guys got up on a starting block, bent down, did a start, swam to the other end, did a flip turn, and swam back. And I'm proud to say that not only was there to experience what they were doing, but they set a national record with their relay.
and all in their mid-80s. It's fantastic. That way, maybe my aches and pains aren't so bad. I feel pretty good. Who could have predicted a skinny kid from Lorain, Ohio could make it to not one but multiple national championships? Maybe Jerry Evans had it right when he said there's a different kind of grit and determination inside the kids that come from Lorain, Ohio. Thank you to the Hall of Fame, to the many coaches and teammates that I've had over the decades, but more importantly, thank you to my family, to my mom and dad for those early morning practices and all late nights and hot, sweaty days in the sun. Thank you for the start. To my loving wife, Connie, my son, Michael, my son, Mark, and my daughter, Maria, thanks for 25 years together and supporting me in swimming. Your constant encouragement, love, and pride is what keeps me going in the pool. I love you all very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jim. The third inductee into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame tonight is Tony Miller. Tony Miller made his mark as a three-sport standout as a Southview Saint at Southview High School. In football, he earned All-Ohio honors after scoring 18 touchdowns and accounting for 1,800 all-purpose yards his senior year. In wrestling, Tony qualified for the state tournament as a junior. As a senior, Tony was 16-2 and rated high in the projected state finish. Unfortunately, he never had the opportunity to compete for a state championship as a senior because of an injury sustained before the sectional tournament. Springtime at Southview meant baseball. By the time he was a senior, Tony was ranked the third best player in the state of Ohio by a scouting combine. At Toledo University, he played 2 Division I sports. In football, he was the Rockets' top kick returner, and the team enjoyed a MAC championship and a top 25 national ranking. In baseball, Tony led the team in most offensive statistics, including batting, stolen bases, and runs scored. Tony Miller was drafted by the Colorado Rockies in 2001. He worked his way up the minor league ladder and finally to AAA with a stint with the parent club in Denver. He was league all-star and team MVP for numerous seasons. Tony Miller played in 572 professional games. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that sort of resume, we welcome Tony Miller into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This beautiful crowd out here. Didn't get a chance to prepare anything. I thought about this moment for about the past 2-3 months, and I'm like, you know what? Can't put anything down on paper. Felt that you got to speak from the heart. This is the city that I love, the city that raised me, the city that taught me everything I need to know to embark on my journey. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife sitting here to the right of me, celebrating her 36th birthday. I shouldn't say it on the radio. My backbone, my support here. My beautiful 4 children sitting in the back. They're over there in the corner. They're beginning their journey, their scholastic journey, athletic journey. Pretty sure they'll be okay. Little modesty there, I'm sorry. But just want to say, you know, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that I was able to accomplish without the support system that I had. My family, my friends, the educators, the administrators, I mean, the time and the care and the quality that they instilled in me that put me on the collision course to reach my dreams. And as Jerry said, and as Janosco said before me, it's a certain type of belief and a certain type of grit that we have coming from this city. Whereas anywhere you put us, you can put us anywhere you want on this earth and we'll triple our worth. You know, I just feel that we just got that resiliency, that tenacity, the grit, and you have that courage. And as you put in all that time, whether it's on the football field, on the wrestling mat, baseball diamond, no matter what it is, in a classroom, the more repetition that you have and the more times you do it over and over again, you just start having that vision and that belief. I like to tell people, yeah, I'm 5'8" and 3/4", but inside of me, you know, is a giant. So as you go through all these trials and tribulations and you're engaged in these sports spectacles, you start learning how to impose your will in different things, you know, and that prepares you for any societal influences and anything you want to do. And as a kid, you know, I was the smallest guy, you know, and I always get told, hey, I don't know, maybe you want to do this, maybe you want to do that. No, I'm going to do exactly what I want to do because I know who I am. I learned that because of the support system and being from Lorain, Ohio. I mean, we're built like the steel that was built on 28th Street. You know, we're hard, we're gritty. And I just feel that, you know, to all these youngsters in here tonight and the basketball team, if you want something bad enough in life, you got to go out and fight for it. You know, you got to work day and night for it. And don't let anyone tell you any differently, you know. And that's how I always believed and what I felt. There wasn't anybody in this world that can tell me anything other than me being the best. And I went out every single day and trained countless hours and days down at Lakeview Beach. Didn't know what I was doing, running in the sand, but man, you know what? Turned out, man, how does this kid run a 4.3, you know? Maybe that sand did work out. Or, you know, running Oakwood Hill, or getting ready for the wrestling season and you're putting 5 miles out there and you're running down the streets and all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm 5 miles away. I can't stop now, I can't turn around. You just keep on pushing forward. And, you know, and you get to the next sport, you know, you swing the bat 200 times a night, not knowing what you're doing. Before you know it, and you're senior in high school, you already logged in 925,000 swings. So now I become one with a baseball bat, you know, and prepared me. And as I went on to college, wasn't scared of anything. I already knew where I came from. I knew my support system and the people that had my back. And when I went out there on the football field or I went out there on the baseball diamond, you had to be ready to deal with me, you know. Yep, 5'8" and 3/4. And all my teammates always reminded me that. That's Tony right there. He's gonna tell you he's 5'8" and 3/4, even though he might be 5'7". But I always tell him, you know, I put my cleats on, I'm up there, you know. But you know, and like I said, I gotta thank my support system again. You know, like I said, the educators, my family, my friends. I thank Dan Turners for letting me hijack his car keys, even though he didn't know it, and that taught me how to drive a car. He had a 1983 Astro van. We used to steal it and drive in the parking lot. You didn't know that, Dan. You know, appreciate you. That's how I learned how to drive. You know, you know, the educators. I see a few in here. Mr. Rossitano, great job with the basketball team. Kids, listen to what he has to say. You know, he knows what he's talking about. Miss Stacy Vore, I see you in the crowd tonight. I thank you and I appreciate all the things you've done. Smacked me in the head when I was acting out of control in the classroom. You know, telling me to continue to, you know, apply as much as time in the classroom as you do on the gridiron, on the wrestling mat, and the baseball diamond. You know, don't take anything for granted. And once again, kids, if you have some goals and some dreams and you want to make it, you can do it. Don't let anyone tell you can't, because if you don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it. And I'll leave the stage with this. Anytime you feel that life knocks you down, you got to try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Great job, Tony. Congratulations. Our fourth inductee tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dan King. In 1991, the Lorain School District suspended football, so Dan moved on to St. Edward's High School in Lakewood. There, he became a two-sport All-American. In football, he was two-time All-Ohio. His senior year, he was named first-team All-American. In the annual North-South Ohio All-Star Game, he was honored with the MVP award on defense, therefore establishing him as the best defensive lineman in the state of Ohio. Dan's participation in wrestling brought him many honors in both freestyle and high school. He ended his senior year as sectional district and state champion. Starting even before high school, Dan participated in powerlifting. In 1991, he was named state champion of the 220-pound class, and again in 1993, he won state champion honors in the 242-pound class. That year, Dan established 3 Ohio state records. Bowling Green University was Dan's choice to continue his education and football career. He was named to the All-Mid-American Conference team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dan King into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame.
Well, first I want to thank the Hall of Fame. It's been a while. You know, I've been wanting to do this ever since I remember watching my dad get inducted. And my wife wrote this speech here for me, but obviously I don't have a lot of time to go through all this. Sorry, Jerry. But when I was told that I was being inducted, it was from my dad. Shortly after that, I got a personal message from a family friend, Tony. He said, "Congrats." Some people wanted to know, how I got inducted, and it's because I'm married to a Danny Award winner, which is my wife over here of 21 years. She was a Danny Award winner, so that's one of the criteria to get into the Hall of Fame. All right, a lot of you guys don't know what that is, so we'll figure that out later. Sports levy failed. I went to Bob's Donuts all the time. On the Shores of Old Lake Erie was the only song I knew from start to finish, because that was the only song my dad, I think, sang in the car, going back and forth to the stadium every day, every Saturday. So, I might have went and I might have wore green and gold, but black and gold is where I bleed. So, I'll always be a Lorain High guy, a Steelman at heart. I want to do some thank yous before I forget here. First of all, thank you to my wife, Jen. Without you, I wouldn't even have got in, because you were the one that submitted the paperwork, and because I wasn't going to do it. My son Tyler and Emily, thank you. Mom and Dad for always taking me to everything, from dropping me off at the airport to fly to Japan, to picking me up from the airport, Jen, and then driving me to Missouri to wrestle in Cadet All-American. So I appreciate that. And then, there's 2 gentlemen that I really want to send a thank you to. They're no longer with us. My grandfather, Bill Cassidy, he was there for me all the time. Every sporting event he could go to, he was there. And then the last one, he's probably my biggest fan ever. Most of you are going to probably remember him and have your own thoughts of him, but Gene Kennedy. I'll leave you with this. Mr. Kennedy, I can't call him Gene, sorry about that. I remember being in a restaurant with him, coming home from a sporting event, and he's had a shit-eating grin, and we're all ordering probably our second or third dinner of the day because I was with my dad, and we eat a lot. You don't get a body like this by working out all the time, And Mr. Kennedy goes, my wife would never allow me to do this. I'm going to have 2 desserts. Bring me 1 for dinner and then bring me 1 for dessert. So still to today, when I go out to dinner sometimes, I tell my kids and my wife, they always ask me what I'm going to eat. And I just, think in my head, I think of Mr. Kennedy. And I said, well, I'm just going to have dessert for dinner. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Dan. Great job. I was trying to picture that phone call from your dad that you were in the Lorain Hall of Fame. Hey, buddy, you're in the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, buddy. Is that how it went, TK? TK, one of the great characters, and you raised a great son right here, no doubt. Next up, we welcome into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, LeBron Gladden. Now, LeBron Gladden has already achieved Hall of Fame induction last year with the great 1985-86 Admiral King basketball team. He led that team in scoring and other offensive and defensive categories. Ashland University was the school of choice for LeBron Gladden. He worked his way into the starting lineup early in his freshman year and started every game they played for the next 4 years. LeBron and the three-point shot arrived to college basketball at the exact same time, and he always had been a long-range shooter while playing for the Admirals. He made All-Conference and All-American numerous times. LeBron is a member of possibly the greatest basketball family ever to attend a Lorain school. He is the older brother of Byron and Jamie, and they have already been inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. And now tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome LeBron Gladden into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out. Good night. I definitely didn't write anything, and pretty much everything each guy has said so far is so true. I mean, anywhere we went, as far as the basketball team, whatever, where's Lorain at? You know, they didn't know. We're right here by Cleveland, and they didn't know we were here. So we'd go over there and jack them up real good, and they wouldn't know where Lorain was at. And I mean that literally. But first off, I want to thank my wife. My wife has put up with me for 18 years now and listened to all my stories over and over. Because I have nothing else. I mean, just stories. And then I make my ex-teammates call and tell her the stories again. But I also would like to thank my 1986 team, which is, they're here, Tyrone Jeter, Dave Cannon, Joe Rouser, and George McCall, along with Brandon Bromley, and just some other guys. Coach Rassatano, thank you so much for the things that you've done back in the day. And you also, Coach Gillum. It was just kind of surreal in the sense to just watch that video of what the team this year did. It was just so, it was a mirror image of what we did in 1986. I never even thought about being in the Hall of Fame. I didn't think that was even possible. As a freshman, Coach Braskich had 2 teams because we had so many people coming out. So I was on the B team, along with Jerry Evans. You do remember that, right? Okay. He hasn't always been that size. I remember borrowing his jeans before, and after our sophomore year, I'm like, man, what is that? He's huge. But like I said, I never imagined coming here. I want to thank everyone here that even supported me. Dave Cannon for submitting my name. I keep telling those guys, I don't think I deserve this. I'm not really into individual honors because everything I did was because of those guys I played with. Lorain is a very gritty place. It made a lot of people, and it was the toughest place to be. I mean, I just heard someone talking about my three-point prowess, and it wasn't like that. It was the fact that I played with the guys I played with. They played so rough, all I could do was shoot jump shots. I honestly was not going in there. They knocking each other out, bloody lips, and at the time I thought I was a little bit too handsome to be doing all that. So it wasn't that I was just a great shooter. I just wasn't going in there. Bottom line, I don't have a whole lot. I mean, like I said, I just want to thank everyone that even believed in me because I really didn't have a high school career. My brothers basically started varsity as freshmen. My youngest brother did anyway, but my second brother, well, my middle brother, Jamie, he started varsity as a sophomore. Well, as a sophomore, I played JV. I got moved up. I got to sit around with those guys, and that was about it. I fractured a kneecap in practice, nothing major. So the following year, I go out and, we start the season, and about 4 games in, I fractured the other kneecap because I was growing. I was finally 5'11". And I didn't play again until the end of the season, and that went pretty well, but I didn't have any delusions of grandeur. I wasn't going to college. I already knew that. I just had 1 season. All these guys that were before me, and they were so good, but it turned out. I ended up at Ashland. Because of Lorain, I did the things that I did there because I was overly confident in a sense. As Jerry said, I had a chip on my shoulder just because even if you knew where Lorain was at, I acted as if you didn't. Anybody in my way, I was mowing them down, and that's just how we all played. In practices at Admiral King, we played that way where we were best friends, my brothers right there. Those are my brothers. And we would basically fist fight in practice and then walk home together. All right, see you tomorrow. I just look back and it was some of the things that motivated me was, one thing that motivated me was, honestly, Jerry Evans. In 7th and 8th grade, I was on that same football team as him, and it was cold outside, and I wasn't, those guys were hitting real hard, and I was on the team because there was nothing else to do. And when I ended up at Madison, Coach Janosco was his name. He didn't even let me play. I was eating Snicker bars on the side, that's a true story. He didn't let me play. So I had no, like I said, 9th grade, I'm on the B team. I'm no good. The guys are beating me up, so I'm shooting all jump shots because I'm not going in there. But as I graduated high school and during my freshman year, seeing the things that Jerry was doing, because I always, kept him there. I seen what he was doing and how confident he was, and then thinking back to the other football players, the Gary Pattons of the world, the Dunlap family. They weren't the biggest guys in the world, but it was just the way we were raised. Like you said, that steel mill, that was part of us. I learned how to swim on 28th Street. I remember I learned how to swim because my mom wasn't really paying attention. She said I just jumped in the water. I think I was 2. And she said I jumped in the water and came on up, and but doing all that and then swimming at Lake Erie, other than that, but I can not thank everyone enough, because I was just here, and I did everything in my power to convince Dave Cannon, not to do this. I didn't want to, nah, man, not me. You guys come with me. Well, they're here with me, and regardless of me being here by myself in this jacket, I share this with them in the city of Lorain. And with that, other than thanking the people that aren't here, my mom, my dad, my brothers, don't worry about it. They'll hear from me later. okay? But I thank them a lot. They were super, they were into me. We played basketball all winter long, because I lived on 22nd Street. We had a real raggedy goal outside, so we just shovel the driveway and get loose. Socks on our hands, you know, because we didn't have no gloves. But I was just like, that's just part of the grit of Lorain. It's part of the person I've become. Because regardless if I'm down and out, whatever it is, I'm picking myself back up. Because in Lorain, this is what we do, regardless. Okay. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, LeBron. Very, very well done. Think about that. Think about that, the young athletes. Freshman B team. Freshman B team to the 2018 Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. That's awesome. That's awesome. Of course, Jerry, the freshman B team was the only thing you didn't tell us about here tonight. But we move on to our next inductee, Frank Colmar. Frank was an outstanding two-sport athlete during his high school days at Lorain Senior. He achieved all-state honors in both football and baseball. He accomplished a rare experience for an Ohio athlete as he was selected to play in both the All-Ohio East-West All-Star baseball game and the All-Ohio North-South football game. Frank was a four-year varsity football player with the Bobcats at Ohio University. He twice was honored with his selection to the Mid-All-American Conference defensive team. As the middle linebacker, Frank was an absolute tackling machine. He is still listed on every OU all-time tackling records, both for a season and for his career at Ohio University. So, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, Frank Colmar.
All right, guys. I'm not going to bore you with long speeches. We let all the young guys, I think, Jim, I think you were the only one older than I was. So, Jerry, I've only got one little piece of paper. First off, it's nice to be back in Lorain, Ohio. I've been in South Florida for the last 36 years, and I definitely don't miss the winters here. Thank you, Big Mike. I didn't even know Big Mike growing up. He said we met once or twice, and I don't remember, but he lives next to my Aunt Manya, which is here with me tonight, and my cousin Cynthia. And he nominated me, and I guess I got elected on the first ballot, which is quite the honor. I'd like to introduce my son, not my lovely wife, Robbie. My wife, my lovely wife, couldn't make it. She's at home taking care of her father. but she definitely wanted to be here. When I found out about my nomination, Terry King called me and, "Hail, Frank! You've been nominated for the Hall of Fame." I thought to myself, wow, it's been 40 years. I know they're not running out of good athletes in Lorain, Ohio. I'd like to give a shout out to my teammates. A couple of them from Ohio University are here with me tonight with their lovely wives. I have Wade LaForce and a few others that I played with in high school. Playing with you guys was awesome. I'd like to thank some of my coaches, which are here tonight. Terry King, Tom Bauer, Bill Provident. The way I looked at high school was the 4 years which turned you from a boy into a man. They taught us camaraderie, sportsmanship, and in turn, it created a bond with your teammates, which lasts a lifetime. So I'd just like to thank them for that. I'd also like to thank my family for their support. My parents aren't with us anymore, but they never missed one of my games. They drove to South Carolina, Purdue, Minnesota, and it was just awesome. But that's about all I have to say. I'd like to congratulate the rest of the inductees. Congratulations, guys. It's an honor being up here with you. And I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for voting me in on the first ballot. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Great job, Frank. Congratulations. Our next three inductees all come to us with similar backgrounds. They were excellent football players at the high school and university level, and then continued their athletic achievements with successful coaching careers. The first of these three outstanding men, is Jim Yosinski. Jim Yosinski had an outstanding athletic career at Clearview High School. Jim lettered in football, basketball, and golf. He won the quarterbacking job as a freshman and started every game for all 4 of his years as a Clipper. Jim did the same at Muskingum College, where he started all 4 years as the team quarterback. His coach said, quote, "He is a take-charge field general," unquote, with a strong arm. He twice led the team to a bowl game and twice to the Ohio Athletic Conference Championship. His season career record at Muskingum was 33-3. After graduation, Jim turned to teaching and coaching. His list of schools is impressive. Assistant at Utica, Mansfield-Madison, Admiral King, Southview, Elyria, and New London. Head coach at Columbia, North Ridgeville, and Lorain. For his dedication and achievements in football, Jim was inducted into the Lorain County Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. And to show his coaching versatility, Jim also coached the very successful Lorain girls softball team. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jim Yosinski into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. And tonight, Jim will also be assisted by his son, Ed.
Thank you. Great job. Don't let your sons be quarterbacks. Jerry, you earned it. Take all the time you want. You probably forgot somebody. You're going to hear about it. A lot of you know that I write a letter occasionally and put it in the paper. But this response was one of the hardest things that I've done. I spent a lot of time on this response and to get it right and finally came up with, thank you. Not enough? Okay, I got some more. Thank the coaches who worked with me. My first staff came in attendance today as a surprise. It was good to see them. Thank the players who played for me. Thank the parents who supported their kids who played for us. Thank the teams that hired me as an official. Thank my wife of 51 plus years for doing such a great job raising our kids with me gone so much. Now that I retired, she kind of wants me back to work. Thank the Hall of Fame committee for choosing me and John Cerrone for doing the research on my career and submitting my name for a vote. And finally, thank the Lord Jesus Christ for a wonderful life, of which I take no credit. None of it was planned. I took life as it came, and doors were opened from above. And I did the best I could with what I had and the people around me. So thank you for the help. Thank you, committee. Ed. Take me down.
I want to take a picture. Oh. Yeah, here, let me take that. I'll get your picture.
I've been sleeping. I didn't feel all right.
Here you go. Good job.
Congratulations, Jim. Our next football player-coach combo is Bill McPhee. Bill attended Lorain St. Mary's and Lorain Catholic. He was a starter at center on the football team and one of only 4 sophomores that helped start a legendary 24-game winning streak. Bill also had the distinction as being the first Lorain Catholic athlete to gain All-Ohio recognition. Following graduation, Bill played football at Defiance College. He became a freshman starter as a center on the offensive line. He also handled all of the kicking duties for the team. Bill also became a 3-year starter and letterman playing lacrosse. Upon graduation, he began teaching and coaching. He was once honored as Lorain County Wrestling Coach of the Year, and Bill has already been inducted into the Brookside Athletic Hall of Fame. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bill McPhee into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I'd like to thank the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame for this honor, allowing me to become part of this great group of athletes from my hometown. Congratulations to my fellow inductees and to the folks that have been inducted in previous years. Jim Janosco, Lorain Catholic swimmer. In 1969, when Lorain Catholic opened, there was no pool. There was no gym. There was no locker room. We would go to class at Lorain Catholic, get in cars, drive across town to St. Mary's, change clothes, drive to Lakeview Park, practice football, drive back to St. Mary's to shower and go home from there. Imagine that happening today. Thank you to a long list of people that have helped make this possible. My first coach, Charles Killer Conrad, is over here. Killer was CYO St. Mary's football back in the 50s and 60s. I remember my first day of football, 5th grade, 1962, City Field. Went up to Coach Killer and asked, "Can I play football?" Killer, in his sensitive, caring way, said, "I don't know, can you?" The rest of the team, including 8th grade big brother Bob, had already taken off on their lap. So Killer said, "Go catch up with those guys." Took off after them at a blistering pace and caught up with them after they'd finished running. As a 5th grader, one of the 8th grade superstars was given jersey number 3 and jersey number 2 so his mom could make a 32, as in Jim Brown. I didn't get a jersey that day. We ran out. But Killer did give me this jersey last month. Thank you, Killer. I also have to thank my 7th grade football coach. He had played high school ball with a couple of my brothers, so I figured I must have been a quarterback. Well, I set an unofficial CYO record with 6 interceptions, 4 for touchdowns. And the next week, I started on my career as a center. Thanks to some of my coaches at St. Mary's and Lorain Catholic, Coach Jim Lawhead and Coach Ken Pogacar, and especially Coach Jim McCall, my freshman football coach and still good friend. From these men and others, I learned what to do and, just as importantly, what not to do. Thank you, coaches. I've had several heroes/role models in my life. My dad died when I was 8 years old, and my sister Kathy was 3 weeks old. My mom was left with 7 kids, ranging from 20 years old to 20 days old. Mom is number 1 on my heroes list. She was one tough lady. Brother Bob also pointed out to me that my mom did 13 consecutive mom and dad nights from 1956 to 1969. My oldest brother Dick, who passed away in 2009, was a highly successful high school coach in the Cleveland area for over 40 years. Brother Gus was a quarterback at St. Mary's, and John Carroll, he was an all-Catholic All-American and was inducted into this hall in 2003. Brother Joe was an all-conference quarterback, and he played college football at St. Procopius College in Lisle, Illinois. 2 of his coaches were Lorain boys, Coach Paul Amadeo and Hall of Fame Coach Fred Churchill. Brother Jim was an all-conference center at St. Mary's, and as a Marine, Jim served his country in Vietnam and was awarded 2 Purple Hearts. Came home to Lorain, became a firefighter until his retirement, and Jim passed away in 2010. Brother Bob was a bruising fullback and captain of the undefeated St. Mary's 1966 team that was inducted into this hall in 2010. And Sister Kathy is currently the financial director at Lutheran West High School. One of my other heroes growing up was Dick Butkus. He was probably a better linebacker than my mom, but I'm sure he wasn't any tougher. I know that my family is where we are today because of my mom. She passed away 5 years ago at 94 years old, and not a day goes by that I don't give her thanks for her love and guidance. Now, back in the 60s, Lorain was the place to grow up. In the summer, you'd put your baseball glove on your handlebars and pedal over to Lakeview Park to play, come home for lunch, go back, come home for supper, and then play around the neighborhood until the streetlights came on. We'd play step ball off the front porch, or I'd go over to the Moraldi's house and call Jimmy or David out to play catch with any kind of ball you could find. David Moraldi, The Edge of Innocence, a great book. I highly recommend it. It talks about Lorain in the 60s. We played tackle football all winter long, and on summer Sunday nights in the early 70s at Lakeview Park, there'd be 20 guys lined up to play touch football. Went to Defiance College on a recruiting trip with Mike Burke, Hall of Fame class of '07. Played 4 years of football and 3 years of lacrosse. As a freshman, I started at center. Sophomore year, I was one of the biggest guys coming back, so they moved me to tackle. Unfortunately, I never learned to block with my shoulders. Back then at center, you led with your head, and that probably explains some of my behaviors. Anyway, my first game, I separated my right shoulder. Third game, separated my left shoulder. And the fourth game, complete dislocation. Thankfully, I was moved back to center for my last 2 years, and I played last year and a half with my shoulder in a harness. I was also the punter and the place kicker. So I figured playing football for 11 years, I got a college degree, an artificial hip, an artificial shoulder, and I'd do it again if given the choice. Since college, I met my wife Barb in my first year teaching in Sheffield Lake schools. We've been married 41 years this July. Together, we taught 71 years in Sheffield Lake. We're blessed with 3 beautiful daughters, Megan, Katie, and Colleen, 3 wonderful sons-in-law, Fred, JP, and Scott, and as of now, 6 really neat grandkids, Tyler, Liam, Alex, Xavier, Parker, and our little princess, Elle. You know, I consider myself lucky. Lucky to be from Lorain, lucky to have been born into a great family, lucky to have grown up when I did, lucky to have amazing lifelong friends, lucky to have coached and hopefully helped some great kids, lucky to have met a woman that has put up with me for 41 years and given me another great family, and lucky to have been inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you.
What do I do?
Great job. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, our last individual inductee tonight, Steve Stola. This tough South Lorainites athletic career began at Admiral King in 1962. He participated in wrestling and football. He was an All-Ohio middle guard his senior year. Steve began his collegiate experience at Baldwin Wallace, where he started all 4 years as a defensive guard and was selected All-Ohio Athletic Conference. He became a teacher and also a football and swimming coach, first at Sandusky and then at Massillon. Steve took 2 struggling football programs and turned both of them into playoff contenders. Bucyrus Winford was his first mission, and then he did the same at Portsmouth. In both of those areas, he was honored with Coach of the Year rewards. Steve's second career started by accepting an active duty ROTC position where he rose to the position of full colonel. After retiring from the military, Steve moved into school administration. So ladies and gentlemen, we welcome into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, Steve Stola.
I was really worried about 5 minutes. Thank you, Jerry. People that know me know I have a hard time saying hello in 5 minutes. Now, I coached against you when I was at Ohio U and you beat us. And I coached against Janosco when I was the swimming coach at Massillon and we beat him. And I also got my, whoever was at Muskingum in 66, he probably ran over me a couple times when I was at BW. I've been very lucky all my life. I was fortunate to play for some excellent football coaches. I played for Tony Misko and Pete Risen at Admiral King, and at BW I played for Lee Tressel. Both Coach Risen and Tressel won Division III national championships. I wasn't on any of their teams that did that, but when I was in the 5th grade, my sister and I were riding bikes by St. John's Church where there were 30 or 40 boys going out for the 8th grade football team. I told my sister when I got older I was going to play for the football team, Jackie. And she asked me if I was afraid. And I said, absolutely not. So I went in, and Red DeLuciano was the coach. He said, what do you want to go out for? I said, football. He said, what position? Football. I didn't know anything about football, but I was lucky enough for 4 years to play on the 8th grade team. My freshman year, my 5th grade year, I think we scored 1 touchdown and we were 0 and something, or I'd have never got in, but I played the whole time. By the time I got to Admiral King, I had played 4 years of football, and my father, see this little puny little 5th grader, made me lift weights, and I don't know if anybody else lifted weights then. But I was very fortunate because I think I was the only kid from St. John's that started on the freshman team. After our freshman year, my best friend Dave Prieto and I used to ride our bikes from South Lorain to Admiral King, which is probably 3 or 4 miles, because we were so worried about getting on the JV team. The first time I ever got in a varsity football game was against Lorain High. Coach Misko somehow put me on the kickoff team, and because I was so slow, probably the best athlete ever in Lorain, Kenny Colmar, sidestepped 2 of my guys and I tackled him, and I was astounded that he fell down. Then about a quarter later, Doug Kraus was our starting left guard, and he had his shoulder dislocated and his leg broke on one play, and I thought, oh my God. And Misko said, Stola, and I said, what? He said, get in there. I said, Coach, I'm a right guard. He says, you're a left guard from now on. I got in, I got to play against John Sopizio, who outweighed me by, it seemed like 800 pounds. He was tough as a mountain, but he wasn't, I know he went to Colgate or Cornell or something, but I ducked under him the whole game and cut him every play. And after that, I lettered as a sophomore. Coach Rizin came in after Coach Misko retired, and he told me I was much too small to play middle guard. I said, okay, and being from Lorain, I didn't like that, but I played linebacker. I didn't like linebacker at all, because people got to run at you. We were playing St. Joe's, and the middle guard got hurt, and they send in a linebacker, and I said, get out, we need a middle guard. And he said, Coach Rizin says you're the middle guard. I think I made 12 tackles in the second half, and from then on, I was not too small to play middle guard. As any coach would know, you have to be surrounded by good players and any players. I was fortunate. We had a great defensive team when I was a senior. We had Petkosik and Spizzato at defensive tackle, and I think Diso and Bieber and Lozano at defensive end. I think Freddie was about 30 when we were seniors. Sislowski and Prieto were our linebackers. And we were really a good defensive team. Played against some great quarterbacks. There was a kid named Healy from Sandusky that played at Michigan, Gonzo from Findlay, and a sophomore quarterback from Lorain High named Terry King. I thought I was tough, and I remember Terry dragging me, and I was holding on to his arm, and somebody finally hit him so hard they broke his jaw. And he played the second half with his head taped up, and I think Danny McNutt was calling it. Your dad was a tough quarterback. Years later, one of my wife's brother's friends, Roger Schultz, told me against Lorain High, Doug Thompson said if they didn't keep me out of the backfield, they were going to give me a letter. That was probably the nicest thing anybody ever said to me. And I can't believe I'm wearing the jacket or with an L on it now, but I finally got the letter. Because they didn't keep me out of the backfield. And before the game, Lorain High had a offensive guard named Luke Casella, and we bet our jerseys on the game. Now, if I had lost, there's no way in hell I'm giving him my jersey. But I want to, after 50 years, I want to ask the Lorain High athletic director to come up and get a number 66 from Lorain High, and I never wore it. But you can have this, and you can put it in your Hall of Fame. Later that summer, I remember I was in, I think it was Longfellow Park, and I saw that certain quarterback for Lorain High carrying a girl. And I said, who is that girl? And they said, it's Karen Butry. And I said, it's pretty nice. And a friend of mine from Lorain High later on lost his license doing God knows what, and asked me for borrow my car, and I wouldn't let him. And he actually arranged the only blind date I ever had in my life. And I said, I don't need your help getting him blind dates, but when I saw her, I said, okay, I'll take it this time. She's still my wife, and that's been almost 50 years. When I graduated, I really didn't want to go to college. I told my father I didn't want to go to college. Everybody in Lorain worked at the steel plant. You thought it was smoke. I didn't even know our houses were white. I thought they were all pink in South Lorain. I told them I didn't want to go to college. I had letters from over 100 schools, and I went to work at the Open Hearth. God bless anybody that worked at the steel plant. After a month, I called every college I could think of, and I thought, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And I ended up going to BW, And I remember after we played an unbelievable schedule at BW. We tied Akron. We beat Youngstown State a couple of times. The last game I ever played was against University of Connecticut. And we flew in at about 2 in the morning, and Coach Tressel, he said, it's late, you guys can come in on Monday and turn in your uniforms. Well, I thought after starting for 4 years, my jersey would be a good memento. By the time I came in on Tuesday, the only thing left was my helmet, because he knew what we were going to do. I moved that helmet 14 times over 40 years, and I finally donated that back to BW a couple years ago, and I feel a lot better about that, too. My first coaching job was at Sandusky. I got $6,500 to teach, $1,000 to be a football coach, and they called me down to the office, and I thought I did something wrong. I'd been in the office a few times in high school, and they said, we got another job for you. And I said, what's the other job? And I said, I don't want another job. And they said, you're going to be the swimming coach. I said, I've never seen a swim meet. And they said, but you were a lifeguard. And I said, so what? They said, we'll give you $1,000. I took it. I was coach of the year, but I treated them like dogs. I filmed them. I went underwater. Coaching swimming taught me how to coach, because I thought everybody knew how to do things. And then, because I was a swimming coach and a football coach, I got the job in Massillon. And then I got sick of new Massillon coaches getting rid of their staffs, and I got lucky for 3 of them. And they asked Coach Currents, his first year, who would make a good head coach at Bucyrus-Winford. And he told him me and Offenbecker. Well, Offenbecker's son was the quarterback, so you know I got the job, because there's no way he's letting his quarterback go. I went to Winford, and I struggled. At Massillon, we dressed 60 seniors, 60 juniors, and I was one of 20 assistant coaches back in their heyday. I got to Winford, and I knew everything about football, and I had 9 kids come out. And I thought, boy, this is going to be and I was their 7th coach in 13 years. And I went door to door, and I got kids to play football. And we were 1-9, and everybody was happy because we were losing close. I thought I was in coaching hell. But 4 years later, we had a phenomenal season. We gave up 2 touchdowns in 10 games. I was coach of the year, and I really probably would have still been there if I didn't get in an argument with the superintendent. And then I took the job at Heidelberg, and then I went to Portsmouth, and I was coach of the year there and got in an argument with the superintendent. And then I decided to go active duty Army. Had I known college coaches were going to make millions, I might have went a different direction. After I got out of the Army, I wanted to come back as a coach, but I had a choice: either take a $80,000 pay cut and be a coach, because they'd only give you 5 years of teaching credit, or I could be a principal. And I worked for about 10 principals. I said, how hard can that be? And then I found out what superintendents made. I said, no problem. I love this country. I've been very blessed, and I want to tell you a couple things as I leave before I introduce a few people. My father told me after first year I was at Winford, by the way, the only thing he never coached me was in football. And he told me he couldn't understand why I didn't do well. That's all you do is score a touchdown and hold the other team without. I thought, oh, geez, Dad, I wish I'd have thought of that. But he said, the harder you work, the luckier you're going to be. And that's true. And he said, the world is full of geniuses that are broke and average people that are very successful. And the key is persistence and hard work. And I've always worked hard, and I think I learned that from the Lorain grit. You either got knocked down and laid down, or you got up and made something yourself. I have my daughter here, and my son-in-law, my grandson, Andrew Stephen, my youngest granddaughter, Victoria. My middle granddaughter's in Europe. She's a 2nd lieutenant and a good kid. Not that the other ones aren't great. And I didn't have to pay 1 cent for her college. I am so hot. I have my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law are here from Huron. The widow of my best friend at BW, Judge Holcomb, passed away. Marcia Holcomb's here. Closest friend after college, John Costello, his wife is here, his widow. And her brother, who used to be the Massillon Booster Club president, maybe still is, I don't know. and Molly, and also my cousins, Marcy, Connie, Eddie, Ellen, Mike. I haven't seen so many people from my family since I got married. Thank God bless the hall for this honor, and I congratulate everybody. Thank you. My wife always said, divorce never, murder maybe. And if you're married to a Sicilian, it scares you. We stay together. And Earl and Marie from Ravenna. Oh, yeah. Hey, where's Mr. Corey? Luke Casella, here it is.
Thank you, Coach. All right, so that does it for the 9 inductees here tonight, 9 individual inductees. And now we have an incredible team to honor. As tonight we honor the 1988 Lorain High girls track team. This team is only the 2nd track team and only the 3rd high school girls team in any sport to be inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. So we now invite all team members to come forward for the presentation. If all team members could come forward and form a line here in front. You can all sprint. You can bring back some memories here. Come on. They were the little track team that could, and they did. They won a Division I Northeast District Championship with only 13 girls participating in the meet over at Amherst. 30 years after running their last races together, this tight-knit group of outstanding young women are being reunited when they once again come together as a team, tonight being inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. The 1988 Lorain High School Ladies Steelman girls track team was coached by head coach Mark Robbins and assistant coach Rich Folk. They qualified in 8 events for the regional meet. Throughout the season, they set records in almost every running event. And finally, they brought home 1 individual state champion. Ladies and gentlemen, some of these women have traveled a great distance tonight for their well-deserved honor into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. They have made the journey from Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, and even Atlanta, Georgia. So how about a big round of applause as we welcome to the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame the 1988 Lorain High School girls track team.
Well, here we are. All right. It's so good to see all of you. I'd just like to congratulate the inductees tonight for a job well done. And I'd like to take this time to thank the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame Committee for this honor and blessing. My words cannot express the joy in the hearts of these young ladies, myself, my assistant coach, Rich Falk, and our families. We are thrilled to be part of the class of 2018. I'd also like to thank my best friend, my wife, Eva, and our kids for putting up with all the time away from home it takes to coach effectively. I'd also like to thank Barb McConaughey, Terry King, and Tom Bauer for their help through this process, because it is a process. And I'd like to thank the late Steve Solonic. He was the boys' head coach, and he was in charge of the shot and disc. And Steve spent his time out with all the teams in Lorain that came to practice at George Daniel Stadium. No matter if you were from Lorain Admiral King, Lorain High School, Lorain Catholic, or Lorain Southview, he was there to help. So thank you, Steve. And then I would like to thank the assistant boys coaches over the years for their help, because they were instrumental in our success. And there was also, you've heard the term gym rat. Well, yeah, most people have. You know, people that hang around the basketball court and just play all the time. And well, we had an individual that used to be that way about track. And he would always just hang out. His brother and sister competed for boys and girls track at Lorain High School. And he always gave pointers whenever he could. He'd stand outside the fence and watch and so forth. And that would be Melvin Noble. And then there are these wonderful young ladies whose hard work and dedication and heart and grit made tonight possible. Congratulations, ladies. Well, it was over 30 years ago that this story unfolded. Mr. Falk, my good friend and assistant coach, refers to this team as the little team that could. And that is true. One of the local newspapers, when announcing the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame class of 2018, said the 1988 girls track team from Lorain High School, who finished tied for 15th in the state, is being inducted. And that is true, but it's only part of the story. You see, that year, we started out with 16 girls. 3 of those were freshmen with very little experience. At the time of the district meet in Amherst, we had 13 girls for 16 events. All season long, we juggled girls, conned and pleaded with them to become versatile. We needed everyone to compete at their highest level every meet and be willing to run, throw, or jump wherever we needed them. By the time the district meet came along, all the girls, except for the freshmen, there was one freshman that probably ran 4 events, competed in 3 or 4 events. The seniors always ran 4. Our record was 7-1 in dual and tri meets, 5-1 in the Erie Shore Conference. We were Lorain City Chaps when they had a Lorain City Championship. We finished 3rd of 20 teams in the Amherst Comet Relays, 6th of 15 teams in the Vermilion Invitational, or excuse me, the Bay Rocket Relays. We won the Vermilion Invitational 2 years in a row, and in the process set 8 school records. So on that day in Amherst, as definite underdogs to Elyria, who was by far the favorite, and they owned us during the season, handing us our only loss, there were a few other teams ranked ahead of us also. The 13 girls had to do everything right. No false starts, no drop batons, no falling over a hurdle, no improper lane exchanges, and no missed handoffs in the relay races. They had to be the best and at the top of their game. This is the story of the 1988 Lorain High Lady Steelman District Championship team. They performed flawlessly and upset top contenders. Now, some of you may be thinking, winning a district championship is certainly noteworthy, but teams win them all the time. What is so amazing about this team? Well, the minimum number of girls required by the Ohio High School Athletic Association to compete in track and field is 9. 13 girls winning a district championship is certainly not an extraordinary occurrence for a Division IV or a Division III or maybe even a Division II team. But these 13 girls from Lorain High competed in Division I against perennial track powers Elyria, Lorain Admiral King, Amherst, and 16 others. and won the Division I AAA title. On the strength of Hall of Fame runner Lillian Saez, who went on to win a state 400-meter championship a couple of weeks later. So the Lorain High School girls ended the season ranked tied for 15th in the state. Not bad for 13 girls. Again, the little team that could and did. And that's the real story. For only the second time in Lorain High School Steelman girls track history, they won a district championship. It had been done once before by my predecessor and friend and mentor, Mr. Carl Hartman's team. We sent 8 girls to the regionals in 5 events. All competed well. Lillian was the only one to advance to Columbus. Angie Moy finished in the finals for the 200-meter dash, and she finished 5th, missing the state meet by 1 place. Now I'd like to introduce each young lady, give a quick summary of the events they participated in, and throw in a few fun facts. But before I do, I just need to mention a few things about the team as a whole and what made them special. They were all hardworking. They were fun to be around. They had character, while some were characters, and still are. They practiced with intensity. We would have to keep a brown paper bag handy at the finish line just in case they hyperventilated trying to keep up with Lily. And this was in practice. I mean, practice. I'm talking about practice. And one last thing. I had hair when I started coaching this group. Just saying. So all kidding aside, any coach will tell you you're only as good as your talent. And these girls had it. So kudos to them and congratulations for being only the 2nd track team to enter the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. And as Tim said, only the 3rd girls team of any sport to be inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, and the 1st girls track team to be inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of information. I got a little bit of information on a card for each person. Mr. Falk and I would like to express that we are extremely happy of their, proud of their accomplishments in 1988, but we're even more proud of who they have become. We have with us tonight 2 teachers, 2 coaches, 3 nurses, a psychologist, a medical assistant at a UH Hospital Wound Center, an HRIS analyst in human relations, 1 college program administrator, 1 missionary soon to be ordained minister, 1 real estate agent in Arizona, and 1 claims examiner for the VA hospital in Florida. So let me introduce you to these wonderful young ladies. Mr. Falk will come forward and assist with the awards and the gift we've chosen for them. All set? We're going to go alphabetically. Sort of. All right, our managers couldn't be here tonight, but they were very important to us. They always helped out a lot, and they helped us set up for meets and just took care of the team. And that would have been Brenda Dalton, Veronica Massey, and Tanya Sandoval. The first athlete would be Dina Atkins. She had to cancel at the last minute. Something came up. She ran the 4x100 meter relay, the 4x200 meter relay, the 300 meter hurdles, the 100 meter hurdles. She's married to Todd Sneezak. She has 5 children, a blended family of 5 children. She is the medical assistant for the Westlake Wound Center for the last 15 years. Next is Tammy Alicia. She was a senior. She ran the 3,200-meter run. She ran the 1,600-meter run. She ran the distance relays. She's married. She has 5 children. She is a singer for a band in Cleveland called Intrigue. She had the opportunity to open for Kid Rock at the Iowa Music Fest. Her favorite memory is I woke her up from a nap to run the 1,600-meter run, and she ran her best time. Grateful for her friendships and happy to be part of this great team. Next is Gina DeFrancisco. Gina ran a 3,200-meter run, the 1,600-meter run, the 4x800-meter relay. She's here with her boyfriend, Kristen Holtgren. She is a teacher and a coach in North Carolina. She started a youth 5K running club and has been doing it for years. She ran cross country for me. Her favorite memory is sharing her running experiences with her brothers. She said it runs in the family. And she appreciated the coach running with them. She said that that inspired her to start her running club. And she also would like to thank Chris Nagy for her encouraging pep talks. That's why she's a psychologist. Okay, next. Rachel Jenkins. She ran the 1,600-meter run, the 200 meters, the 400 meters, the 4x400-meter relay occasionally, the 4x200-meter relay occasionally. Her father, Tim Jenkins, was recently inducted into the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame. She also ran cross country for me. Her husband is Hayden Stafford. She has 3 daughters. She was an RN in the cardiac cath lab at Metro. She decided to stay home when her youngest was born. She currently is a senior stylist for a company called Stitch Fix. She loves to run. She's run 8 marathons, including Boston, and she has run many halves, of which she is running tomorrow in Cleveland. Her favorite memory is beating Lorain Admiral King and the bus ride home from the district meet. Terry Costio, senior, feisty competitor. She ran the 4x800-meter relay, the 1,600-meter run, the 4x400-meter relay occasionally, 100-meter hurdles, 300-meter hurdles. She also played volleyball. She has 1 child, a son named Nikos. She is a Mercy New Life hospice nurse for 23 years and a home health care coordinator. Her husband is David Poulos. Katrina Lewis. Katrina was all right. Katrina was our hurdler. She ran the 300 or the 100-meter hurdles, and she set the record in the 300-meter hurdles. She was a sprinter also. She ran the 100 once in a while. She did the high jump, the long jump, and the 4x200-meter relay. Her favorite memory, I think, was the 5-minute car ride from Lorain High School to the stadium. For me, it was a 5-minute ride, but it was like an hour. Because the only thing that Katrina could do faster than run the hurdles is talk. Congratulations. Colleen McBennett. She ran the 3,200 meter run, the 1,600 meter run, the 4x800 meter relay, the 800 meter run. She also ran cross country and distance relays. She is also a teacher in South Carolina. Her husband is David Pelly, and they have 2 sons. Her favorite memory was the spaghetti dinners that we used to have before meets, and actually she had us over for a spaghetti dinner last night to carry on the tradition. And I would like to thank Colleen and David and Colleen's parents, Jim and Martha McBennett, for their hospitality last night. Angie Moy, she's a senior. You were a junior. She was a junior. I knew I'd get one of them wrong. She ran the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash. She ran the 4x100 meter relay, the 4x200 meter relay. Occasionally, she ran the 4x400 meter relay, and she was on the record-breaking 400 meter relay team. She was one of the unsung heroes of the team, as were the other 12. She finished 5th in the regional meet and missed the state by 1 place. Her favorite memory is trying to talk me out of putting her in the 4x400 meter relay. See, if I wouldn't have put you in it, you wouldn't have been on that record-breaking team. So she's married 21 years to Rodney Hooks. She has 2 daughters, and they are very active in track and field at Amherst. Keep an eye on them. You're going to hear from them. She's a nurse at the Cleveland Clinic. Next, we have Chris Nagy. Chris ran the 800-meter run, and in the district meet, she set the record in the 800. She also ran the 400-meter run occasionally. She ran the 1,600-meter run in the district and set a school record. She did the high jump. She did the shot put. She did the 4x400 meter relay. She's a multi-talented individual. She's married to Chad Saladin. They are both very active bird watchers. She represented Lorain High School in the Lorain County Pentathlon. She is the girl, the female, with the most varsity letters in Lorain High School Steelman girls history. She has 4 in basketball, 4 in volleyball, 2 in track, 2 in softball. She is 3rd all time behind Mr. Carl Hartman and Mr. Terry King. Some pretty good company. Chris is a psychologist / family therapist, and she starred in basketball at the University of Charleston, West Virginia. And we hope someday that she will be inducted as an individual. Tanya Prescott, she was a freshman. She ran the 4x400 meter relay. She was on the record-breaking team. She ran the 400 meter run. She ran hurdles, 100 and 300s. She ran the 800 meter run occasionally and the 4x800 meter relay. Her favorite memory is breaking that record. She works at Vitamax as an HRIS analyst in the Human Relations Department. Her husband is Ray Wazik. She has 2 daughters. She coaches volleyball. She loves running and boating. Lisa Rodriguez. Lisa was a high jumper. She also dabbled in the hurdles. She did the 4x100 meter relay, the 4x200 meter relay. Her husband is Terry Bayless. She has 2 children. She manages the Advanced Technology Academy at Cuyahoga Community College. Her favorite memory is hanging out with the team. And also, she has started a leadership life coaching practice. So congratulations. Next is Lillian Sayez. Lillian was my project. She ran cross country for me. She played basketball also. She owns the record in the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, the 400-meter dash. She ran the 4x100-meter relay, the 4x200-meter relay, the 4x400-meter relay, which she anchored and set the record. One meet, I believe it was the city meet, we got down to the last event, and our normal 3,200-meter runner, I had already decided that she wasn't going to compete in that because she had shin splints, and she ran one event that day, and she was hurting. She was tough. So I went up to Lily and I said, Lil, you think you can do that? She looked at me and she said, all right. So she ran the 3,200-meter run, and she scored the points we needed to win. She also set the school record. She was third in the 400-meter dash in the state as a freshman in 1984. The next season, she participated halfway through the season. She had some academic difficulties and didn't finish, so she couldn't compete at the state meet. As a junior, she came back. We're talking about grit here now. This girl has it. She came back as a junior. She had an attitude. One of my friends, my assistant coach, we refer to this as a little bit, we had to do a little bit of dental work. We had to pull a bad tooth. So I told Lillian, you're dismissed from the team as a junior. I got a lot of flack over that. But it was the right thing to do because she came back the next year as a senior. And she didn't lose one race. She went all the way through the whole season without losing one 400-meter race. She's the only girl that I know, even to this day, that would not come out of blocks. She started in a ready position. I tried to put her in blocks. She said, Mr. Robbins, I can't do it. I'm afraid I'm going to false start. I said, well, it ain't broke, so we're not fixing it. We let it go. She ran a 54.95 down at the state meet. She won that race by 20 meters. Had anybody been on her heels, she would have broken the all-time state record at the time. She missed it by 0.05 of a second. Lillian, I'm proud to say, is here tonight. She couldn't be here for her individual induction. She's been very ill. She is a missionary in church planting in Florida until she got real sick, and then she moved back up to Ohio. She's soon to be an ordained minister. She has 3 children, one of which is here tonight with her. Triplets, 2 girls and a boy. Congratulations. Next is Michelle Strickler Cruz. She could not make it. Her She had some other things going on in her life at this point in time. She's a real estate agent in Arizona. She was a sprinter, and she ran the 100 and the 200 meters. She was one of the freshmen. Next, we have Angie Smith. Angie lives in Louisville, Kentucky. She studied at Oberlin College. She works in retail in Louisville. She was an 800-meter runner. She ran the 1,600-meter run. She ran the 1,600-meter relay on occasions. She ran other relays on occasions. In the next year, she was our top 800-meter runner. So we had a series of very good 800-meter runners. First was Beth Nagy, then Chris Nagy, and then Angie Smith. She is now single. She has 5 children, 1 girl and 4 boys. And she didn't give me a favorite memory. She said she couldn't think of one, but I know she has some. Hanging with her sisters, and there you go. All right. Steffi Weisenberger was our shot and disc person. She's not here tonight. She was a foreign exchange student from Germany. I don't know that she ever threw the shot and disc, but she worked with Steve the whole year, and by the end of the year, she was doing pretty well. So once again, Mr. Slonik. And she made a ton of progress with Steve, so kudos to her. And last but certainly not least, Queen Young. Queen's not here. Her daughters are graduating from high school tonight. So she ran the 4x100, the 4x200. She was on the record-breaking 4x400 meter relay team. She ran sprints, hurdles, long jump, and high jump. She was such a sweet person, and she made me laugh all the time. She's married to Timothy Wyatt. She has twins who are graduating. She works for the VA hospital as a claims examiner in Florida. So that, folks, is the little team that could and did. Thank you for your patience, and God bless you all.
Okay, we can't let it end with that. So I just have to jump in here. I promise to be really quick, but myself and my teammates had to at least say a word or two about Mr. Robbins and Coach Falk. You know, we certainly weren't that little team that could without them. They were the engine. And I am getting older, and I'd never had a great memory, so I might not remember all the details and all the little ins and outs of our track team and all those great memories and everything, but I'm reminded of the fact of saying that you may not remember every detail of what a person says or does, but you remember how these people make you feel. And that is the epitome of Coach Robbins and Coach Falk, I think, to all of us. I think I can speak for all of us. You probably can tell from Mr. Robbins' talk that he and Mr. Falk cared so deeply about us as people. So it was well beyond our performances as athletes or what we did for the school or for them or anything else. They showed us unconditional love and acceptance. And I know for us as teenagers, that was hugely important. And I think it just bleeds right into adulthood. So that's significant, and it shouldn't be underappreciated. So again, we just all wanted to thank Mr. Robbins and Coach Falk. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, we transition from honoring the past, the great athletes, and of course that great team that we just heard so much about, to transitioning to the present, and if history proves true, the future. For these young recipients, and many like them in our high schools, are truly the future of Lorain. The Lorain Sports Hall of Fame would like to start these scholar athletes off on their promising careers with the J. Ed Ulen Scholarships. So, could our 4 candidates, please come forward as far as the J. Ed Ullin Scholarship is concerned. If you guys could make your way to the front, and ladies. And at this particular time, ladies and gentlemen, certainly one of the iconic figures in the city of Lorain as far as coverage of young athletes is concerned, Jim Popiel Allen. If he could come on up to the microphone, please. Jim.
Thank you very much, Tim. And being in the broadcasting business on WDLW and WOBL, we like to use teasers, and I'm going to give you one right now. Coming up in just a few moments, a big surprise. But now something very, very important. The announcement of our J. Ed Ullin Award winners. First, a bit about the award. The J. Ed Ullin was originated in 1974 to annually recognize the outstanding male and female student senior athletes from local high schools, now Lorain High and Clearview. The award is named for one of the founding fathers of the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, J. Ed Ullin, who passed away from a sudden illness in '74 at the age of 54. Students are nominated by their respective school and must have excelled in athletics and academics and taken part in extracurricular school and volunteer community activities. The Lorain Sports Hall of Fame is proud to offer the top boy and girl a $1,000 scholarship and the runner-up boy and girl a $500 scholarship. The winners are chosen following a vote by committee members of the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame Committee. As each nominee is introduced, Hall of Fame President Bill Rufo will present a pin and certificate. But before we begin, a quick rundown of some of the past winners to show you the importance of the award and how people have done so very well in life after winning this award. Last year, Lorain High's Naz Bohannon started every basketball game at Youngstown State and was named to the Horizon Conference All-Freshman team after finishing third in the league in rebounding with 9 per contest. And his 251 rebounds were most at Youngstown State in 26 years. And that's last year's winner. From 2 years ago, Lorain High's Brandon Bartolome is wrestling at Ohio Northern and serving as trainer for the soccer team. From 3 years ago, Lorain High's Eddie Williamson led John Carroll's football team last fall in kickoff returns and punt returns and was one of the team's top pass receivers. Clearview's Sarah Kayer has completed 4 years as a very good softball pitcher for Defiance. Clearview's Caitlin Baker is head volleyball coach for the Clippers. Lorain High's Blake Benyard, after a top-of-the-list academic and athletic career at Morehouse College, is a graduate student at the University of Wisconsin, studying medical physics, and is well on his way to becoming a doctor. Admiral King's Matt Rossitano is head baseball coach at Amherst, which is in the regionals this week, after defeating St. Ed's. In fact, after that win, his uncle, John Rossitano, winning over the St. Ed's Eagles in basketball this past winter. I understand that every student at St. Ed's got an email this weekend saying that anybody who says the word Rossitano at St. Ed's this coming week is immediately expelled. Well, I'm about to introduce you some individuals who are not going to be expelled. In fact, their high schools love having them. First of all, Evelyn Williams. Evelyn Williams ranks second academically in the senior class of over 400 scholars at Lorain High School, with a grade point average of 3.97 unweighted and 4.64 weighted. She was selected All-State Academic in 2017 and has been on the honor roll all 4 years. Evelyn has been a varsity Leonard winner in volleyball all of her 4 years at Lorain High. She was All-Lake Erie League in 2016 and a Lorain County All-Star in 2017. Evelyn has been a member of the LEO Club, a fall and winter cheerleader all 4 years, took part in the high school musical, and was elected president of the National Honor Society. She has been active as a Mary Lee Tucker Clothe the Child campaign and a very special Olympics volunteer. Evelyn will be attending The Ohio State University, where she will major in exercise physiology. Evelyn Williams. Jessica Schrenkel. Jessica Schrenkel ranks 5th academically out of 133 seniors at Clearview High School with a GPA of 4.17. She has won varsity letter awards in softball all 4 years and Scholar Athlete honors from the school and the PAC Conference. As a sophomore, Jessica was selected second team All-Lorain County in softball. Jessica has been a member of Student Council all 4 years and is currently president of the group. She has been an officer of her class since her freshman year and now is vice president of the senior class. Jessica is a member of the National Honor Society. Jessica has been a volunteer for the community Halloween, Christmas, and Easter walks and has been active in her church as an altar server, vacation Bible school teacher, and a member of the church youth group. Jessica Schrenkel. And we'd like to announce the winner right now. Tim, you don't have any idea. Who has the envelope by any chance? Oh, you, Bill, okay. Okay, let us, oh boy, I could use one of these paper clip openers or paper envelope openers. This is gonna be, I will repeat that one. And as we look at the list, this year's winner of the extra scholarship from Lorain High School, Evelyn Williams. And, okay, very good. Thank you, Bill. Now for introduction to the top boys at each high school. John J.D. McCardle. John J.D. McCardle ranks 20th academically in a class of 133 seniors at Clearview High School with a GPA of 3.59. He won varsity letters in football, wrestling, and track his first 3 years, and in football and wrestling as a senior this year. In football, J.D. was third-team All-State Division IV, first-team All-District, and All-County, and second-team All-Conference last fall. In wrestling, he recorded a career mark of 141.38 and tied for fourth in the Ohio High School Athletic Association record book for most pinfalls in a single season with 45. J.D. qualified for district the past 3 years. In track, he was all-conference as a discus thrower in 2017. J.D. has been a member of the Youth for Youth and Spanish clubs for 4 years and was elected to the National Honor Society. He's an American Red Cross certified lifeguard and was chosen the Elyria Parks and Recreation Swim Instructor of the Year in 2017. J.D. has volunteered for the International Festival, community cleanup, and as an entertainer on the piano at local nursing homes. So maybe we could have him for some entertainment in future years. He plans to wrestle in college and is considering Adrian College, Mount Union, and Wheeling Jesuit. John J.D. McCardle of Clearview. And the Lorain High nominee this year is Justin Sturgill. Justin Sturgill ranks number 20 in the senior class at Lorain High of over 400 scholars with a grade point average of 3.5. Justin was voted winner of the Golden Helmet Award last fall as Lorain County's most outstanding senior football player, scholar, citizen. He quarterbacked Lorain High to playoff appearances 2 straight years and is the only Lorain County Division I player ever to quarterback his team to 2 playoff victories. He had 6 career touchdown passes in playoff games, the most for any Lorain County Division I quarterback ever. Justin was first team All-County and All-District and second team All-Ohio Division I. Justin is vice president of the National Honor Society and the Leo Club. He has been a volunteer for the Second Harvest Food Drive, the Lorain International Festival, Clean Up Lorain, Special Olympics, and at various nursing homes. Justin will be playing football at 13-time Division III national champion Mount Union. And we have the envelope here. Thanks to President Bill Rufo for saving me the trouble of opening it up, which I had a hard time doing. Let's find out who the winner is, okay? And the winner of the extra scholarship from Clearview High School, John McCardle. Congratulations, John McCardle, the boys winner this year. Okay, sure. Okay. Very good. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. Congratulations to all of you. You're all winners. As far as other awards being presented this evening to our youngsters, the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame gives a special award to Lorain High senior Zion Cross for finishing third in the state in the 2017 Ohio State Division I track meet. Zion was the state champion in 2016. He'll be continuing his education and track career at the University of Akron. Zion is not able to be with us tonight, but we congratulate him on his many notable accomplishments and wish him the best of luck in the future at Akron University and beyond. He'll be receiving a very special plaque too, that which Bill, if you might show the audience. Okay, thank you very much. And now for the surprise. I have a hunch nobody expected to see a pro basketball here, a player here tonight, but we certainly have a very good one. We have a special recognition this evening. Lorain High grad Thomas Wimbush is the first basketball player from not only the city of Lorain, but the entire Lorain County to ever play on an NBA-affiliated team. Following a fantastic career at 2017 NCAA Division II national champion Fairmont State, Thomas was chosen in the very first round, the 4th pick overall in the NBA G League draft by the Long Island Nets. Yes, first round, 4th pick. In fact, Thomas, would you come up right now so people can get a good look at you? Okay? Although Thomas has not received even a single word in Lorain County newspapers, even for being drafted as the 4th pick in the first round, Wimbush has received glowing words from the New York City area sports journalists, calling him perhaps the next great find by the Brooklyn Nets. Thomas scored 16 points in the 4th quarter, en route to a personal high of 27 points to lead the Long Island Nets to a win over the Erie Bay Hawks, the affiliate of the Atlanta Hawks. The most impressive part of Thomas's career is that he did not win any major awards while at Lorain High. He wasn't Mr. Basketball, nor All-Ohio at any level. I wonder if he was even first-team All-County. But through hard work, like you saw the current Lorain High group do this year, Thomas has developed into a player who is on his way to becoming the county's first native son ever to play in the league, the NBA. One of the most popular acronyms in sports these days, of course, is GOAT, G-O-A-T, which stands for the greatest of all time. After becoming the county's first ever NBA-affiliated player, Thomas is certainly worthy of being called a candidate for the GOAT. And one more thing, he's also a candidate for the NOTE. What does the NOTE, N-O-A-T, stand for? Nicest of all time. A great gentleman and a great basketball player. It is with extreme pride that I present Lorain County's first NBA-affiliated basketball player ever, Mr. Thomas Wimbush, Lorain High grad. Okay, thank you so much, Thomas, and congratulations. And thanks to all of you good people, and congratulations to all of the individuals who were enshrined tonight. And I had the pleasure of talking about all of these individuals when they were in high school. And I especially want to give special thanks to one of the individuals, Mr. Frank Colmar, because I started my daily sports reports on local radio in 1970. And his dad was Frank's Little League coach back then. And I think he told everybody who ever heard of the word baseball in Lorain County to listen to my programs. And thanks to Frank's late dad, the career has lasted, and to the point that in a year and a half from now, unless I have some unexpected, unwanted visitors overnight in my house once again, I'm going to make it to 50 years doing the local radio reports. So thanks to Frank Colmar and everybody else. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim. And again, for those of us in the broadcasting world, to hear somebody say that they're getting close to 50 years in the business, that is a remarkable achievement. Jim, congratulations to you. That is just fabulous. what he's done for the young athletes in our area. And again, congratulations to all the J. Ed Ullin nominees. It really speaks to the future as far as the kids that are coming out of Lorain. It is just an incredible testament to what the schools in our area are offering. So ladies and gentlemen, this will bring to a conclusion my aspect of the evening. I want to thank you once again for having me as the MC tonight. I want to remind everyone that the enshrinees and guests tonight that the video of this banquet will be on the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame website in a couple of weeks. It will take a couple of weeks to get it up there, but the video will be on the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame website. Past banquets and bios of all past inductees and teams are also on the website. So to close things out tonight, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Mr. Bill Rufo, but thank you for having me tonight.
Tim, as always, you've done a great job. Cliff German, for us being here the first time, it certainly won't be our last. And on your way out, make sure that you stop and see Cliff and let him know if you like this dinner and you like this night and you love sports excitement. Let him know. Okay, just two short announcements. Our next event coming up will be the golf outing, so you can check the newspaper and our website for that. Also, I would like to personally invite all of you to 2600 Ashland Avenue. Let's see, what address was it? Oh, that was the old Admiral King, but the new Lorain Titans High School. If you haven't seen it, you're going to have to go to believe it. The Sports Hall of Fame is located in the back of the school, Pole Avenue exit, and we are going to have a special opening just for this group from noon to 2 tomorrow. So if you want to see what we're all about and the history of Lorain sports, we're going to make that available to everybody. At this time, I'd like to, Father Devious still here?
Oh, yeah.
Father Davis, our spiritual leader here tonight, will give the benediction, and you're free to mingle. Pictures will be available right after the prayer.
The bar's open? All right, let's go. All right, why doesn't we all stand? I've been encouraged many times to keep my homily short, and I've been supported in that again tonight. So let us pray. Loving God, we give you thanks for the gift of our families and friends, and pray for those who've gone before us, whose memories we cherish. We thank you for the gifts of our talents, friendships, memories, and all that you have given us. Thank you for your kindness in refreshing us tonight as we celebrate our gifts. Continue to strengthen us not only in our bodies, but in our spirits. We pray that your spirit of love will shine in us as we serve one another in your name. And we ask your blessing on us from you, the source of all that is good. Amen. Now, don't all run out the door at once. There's really a wonderful parking lot out there. Be very careful, but let me go first.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.